Hello everybody and welcome to the Outside the Ring Show. I'm your host, the man behind the camera, and tonight we move on to Wrestlemania 5 in our Wrestlemania review series. Basically, as I said before, the genius of Vince McMahon, back in the day that is, of planning this whole feud out months and months and even a year in advance. When the Mega Powers again shook hands at WrestleMania 4, that led to this match at WrestleMania 5 where the Mega Powers exploded. Again, the second year in Trump Plaza, second year in a row. It really was a very interesting Mania, but basically it all came and kind of intertwined into this one big match. All the matches, there's 13 before the main event, but I'm not going to go into those that much. I might only touch on a few that really stood out, but the match that really only stood out to me was Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth and her whole involvement with that angle. Now, I don't know whether it was Hulk Hogan or Savage, but they found Miss Elizabeth and Hulk Hogan brought her to the back, and then Savage attacked him back in the locker room, and then it just went crazy from there, and their feud really started building up and stuff, and then you had this big blow-off here at Mania 5. So a couple of matches that really stand out. One in particular was the second match on this card. You have the Twin Towers versus the Rockers. And this match, to me, stood out only for the fact that it was like these big guys versus these two high flyers. The Twin Towers, Boss Man and Akeem the African Dream, he was always funny in the ring. And then the Rockers with Shawn Michaels and Mario Jannetty, and they made this match work. They used the athletic and high-flying skills of the Rockers and the power of the Twin Towers, and it was a really good match psychology, and one that really stands out in my mind from this Mania. I give that 3 1/4, and the matches I describe and the grades will all be in the description box, as well as the final total match score and the grade of the pay-per-view. So that match stood out because on paper I was like, okay, this could be a good match, but it's kind of awkward the way it's structured with the big guys versus the smaller guys. But it worked out. It was a great match. I give it a 3 1/4. Let's see. There was a ton of matches. Then you had the early match between Perfect and the Blue Blazer, a.k.a. Owen Hart. A really, really good match between these two. I mean, good wrestling, and just the only thing I didn't like about this match was the ending where Perfect plexed the Blue Blazer, a.k.a. Owen Hart, and he didn't kick out. It kind of made him look a little weak, but still, just a great back and forth wrestling match. Another match that stood out to me as a really good match. Then you had Demolition versus the Powers of Pain with Mr. Fuji. This match stood out to me maybe for some of the wrong reasons, but maybe one they had Mr. Fuji in there, which was entertaining, but I don't know, it was a slow, methodical match, and Demolition pins Mr. Fuji at the end. It was interesting, but it was a little slow and methodical for me, but it does stand out because you have Mr. Fuji and you have the Powers of Pain, and obviously Demolition. And the story behind that was good too, with I guess Mr. Fuji held the rope down with his cane, and Demolition got mad, and one of them Axer Smash slammed him on the outside at one of the WWE's shows or whatever, and that led to this match. It was a good match, but it was slow and methodical, so I gave it a 2 1/2. Next match, a really good match between Jake Roberts and Andre the Giant with guest referee Big John Studd. Andre and Studd get into it at the last part of this match, but it was a really good match between these two. On paper, you're like, Andre and Jake, they're two different styles. Andre's the big guy, flying, tossing people around the ring. Jake's kind of that slow, methodical kind of guy, but adding Big John Studd into the picture really playing no favorites until the end, where Andre and him just go at it. I brought a lot to the match, brought a lot out of Jake and Andre, and I thought it was a great match, 3 1/4. Next, we have a really entertaining tag team match with Greg Valentine and Honky Tonk Man versus the Hart Foundation. This match definitely is on the list. Just a great tag team match, and whenever you have the Hart Foundation in a tag team match, it's going to be good, and it was. And Greg Valentine, he's a great wrestler, and even the Honky Tonk Man, I'll give him his credit in the ring, he was good, as well as outside the ring, and it all gelled, and it was well booked, and it was well put out there. I don't know, but I mean, it was just a really, really good match, and there was a lot of good psychology, a lot of counters, wrestling holds, mat wrestling. There was a lot of stuff, and the Anvil doing his power stuff was cool too. Really good match. I gave this a 3 1/2. Second best match of the night, in my opinion. Then we got the WWF Intercontinental Championship match. Rick Rude versus Ultimate Warrior. A really great match. Unbelievable between Rick Rude and the Warrior. They went out there and had a great Intercontinental Championship match, a classic Intercontinental Championship match. I'm not going to talk too much about this match. It was good. Definitely, I would recommend you guys going back to watch that. I gave it a 3 1/4. It was a really good match. And then we got to the best match of the night. Basically the build-up since WrestleMania 4, the WWE Championship match between Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage with Elizabeth. Now, Elizabeth stated in an interview beforehand she was going to stay in a neutral corner, but Randy Savage was basically telling her what to do around ringside, and she did a great job. Her role in this match was great. I mean, she played a great. She tried to stay neutral, and Savage was doing all this crap with her, and it was just a great. Miss Elizabeth, definitely in the top 5 divas of all time. But even in this match, she played a huge role. Hulk Hogan and Savage had a great wrestling match. Ton of stuff went down, and then the shock value with Randy dropping the elbow and Hulk Hogan getting up and hulking up and then hitting the leg drop for the win. But just an unbelievable match, a 3 3/4. The total match score of all 14 matches came to around 37.75 out of 65, which garners, I don't know, like a 5.8 or 5.7 or something. I put it to a 6 because I thought it was that good of a Mania. Like I said, I'll put the matches that I highlighted and that I went over in the description box and the grades and the final grade for this show. Comment on what you thought about WrestleMania 5. Subscribe to our channel and give it the old thumbs up. As for me, well, WrestleMania 5's done. Now, next time you'll see me doing a solo review, I'll be reviewing WrestleMania 8, since the only pick is going to be doing 6 and 7, I believe. Then I'll be coming back to do 8, and that was a screwed up Mania. But we'll get to that when we get there. So comment, rate, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Peace.